And back to continuing this onboarding course. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad we're pretty deep into it at this point. So, today's topic is huge, and it's something that can completely change the way you approach your health journey and honestly, just like your entire life. Because most people spend so much of their time and energy trying to control things that are completely outside of their control. It's not just unproductive, it's exhausting, it's draining. By the end of this video, you're going to walk away with a clear understanding of what's actually in your control, what's not in your control, and how redirecting your energy can lead to faster results, less stress, and a lot more just peace of mind in all aspects of life. But a lot of the times, a lot of my clients are just so come to me, they're so overwhelmed with all these things they think they have to do and all these things going on in their life, and they just can't figure out how to piece it all together. Well, this is how we can start clearing our head and clearing our schedule, if we're being honest. That'll allow us to narrow in on the things that we truly value and put first things first. So, part one is the illusion of control and why it's hurting you. We all crave control. We are biologically wired to seek control over our situations and things going on in our life. It's how the brain creates safety. But here's the problem: we think we're being productive when we fixate on things like, why is the scale up 2 pounds today? Why doesn't my partner support me more? Why does it feel so easy for other people? XYZ. But ask yourself, can you actually control those things? Can you actually control what other people are doing? Nope. And here's the catch: chronic stress from focusing on what you can't control skyrockets cortisol. High cortisol messes with sleep, appetite, fat storage, hormonal production, and your ability to build muscle. And it creates this downward spiral of just you feel like garbage, you feel stressed and overwhelmed all the time, and just you end up kind of spinning your wheels, not going anywhere. So let's go into let's narrow down. Here are things that you cannot control, even if you wish you could. So here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna get a whiteboard or a piece of paper and you do write down a T chart, right? Line down the middle, line like this at the top. And on one side, you're gonna put can control and cannot control. Or actually other way around. Can't control, can control. So in the cannot control, you cannot control the number on the scale today because it can fluctuate for dozens of reasons. You cannot control what someone else eats, thinks, does, or says about you and your journey. You cannot change your genetics or your age. You cannot control your past choices or how far off track you've gone. You cannot control how fast the results come. You cannot control your dickhead of a boss. You can't control your partner's mood. You can't control if somebody cuts you off in traffic, and you can't change what's already happened. And trying to wrestle with these is like yelling into the wind. And all it does is steal your energy, steal your peace of mind, and drastically slow your progress. Now, on the right side, what you can control and where real change happens. Let's flip the script on that. Here's what you can control. You can control how you respond to what happened. You can control your thoughts around someone cutting you off in traffic because who knows? Maybe that person's mom is dying. Maybe that person's wife went into labor and they're in the hospital and this person's trying to rush to the hospital to go greet their baby. You don't know that. The only thing you know is that they cut you off in traffic, but you don't know why. But most of the time, we sit there when someone cuts us off in traffic, we go into reaction mode and we go, "Wow, that person's a dickhead," blah 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 blah, and we start getting angry and like cursing them, making these general judgments about them with no actual evidence. You don't know what that person's going through. You don't know. You have no idea. You have no idea what's actually happening to that person. Make them want to cut you off in traffic. You don't know. So you can control your thoughts around that. Are they actually a dick, or like maybe something's going on? You don't know. But you can also control what you eat today. You control what you put in your mouth. You can control how much water you drink, whether you go for a walk or whether or not you go for a short stretch, or how you talk to yourself after a setback. You can direct those thoughts. You can choose and control where that goes. Whether you go to bed on time or not, asking for help instead of quitting. These are things that may not be glamorous. They may not feel like game changers, but over time in the big picture, they are the game. These small, boring, controllable things are what actually determines your results. And this is where a really good mental exercise that I love. It's called Let Them. this mental reframe that can completely set you free. And this is popularized by someone named Mel Robbins, who you may or may not know who that is. You've probably seen some clips from them on Instagram or TikTok. You've probably seen this. She has the number one podcast in the world, and she also wrote a book called The Let Them Theory. And I love this. Okay. Because here's the truth: you cannot control people. You can't control their thoughts, their comments, their reactions, but what you can control is how you respond. And this is where the let them theory becomes an absolute superpower in your life. Let them. Let them roll their eyes at you. Let them question your new habits. Let them whisper, judge, tease, or criticize. Let them not get it. Let them not understand. Because guess what? It's not about them, it's about you. But then we have to add another part. Let them sounds great. But now we have to ask ourselves or say to ourselves, let me. Let them judge me for skipping dessert at dinner. And let me nourish my body in a way that makes me feel incredible tomorrow morning. Let them call me obsessed and then let me stay committed to the vision I have for myself, my health, and my family. Let them think I've changed because, hey, that's the point. Let me be proud that I've changed because I refused to stay stuck in a life that no longer serves me. Every time you say let them, you're creating this emotional distance between behavior and your choices, stimulus, and how you respond to that stimulus. You're reminding yourself that their reaction is not my responsibility. Them getting it isn't my responsibility. Their opinion doesn't feed me, fuel me, or help me move my body. So it doesn't matter. And that you get to choose your next steps, not them. And when you follow it with the let me, you reclaim your power. You come back to what you can control: your food, your mindset, your response, your energy, your time, your goals. All of that is yours to control. This is real mental strength. It's not about being perfect. It's about refusing to hand your peace over to someone who doesn't live in your body, raise your kids, or fight your battles. So the next time someone doubts you, pressures you, or tries to guilt you back into old habits, just take a breath, smile, and say to yourself, let them and let me. Let me keep rising. Let me keep growing, and let me live a life that feels like mine. So here's the practical thing you're going to do today. You're going to make a T chart, and your challenge this week is step one. When something frustrates or overwhelms you, ask yourself, is this within my control? If not, say it out loud. Let them, or that's not under my control. So you can move on. And if yes, then immediately write down what is one small action that you can take right now or just sometime today to start dealing with that thing. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it's yours. Like, I can't control how much weight I've lost by Friday, but I can prepare my meals tonight, get my walks in after dinner to ensure that I'm at least stacking the deck in my favor. And over time, this rewires your brain for resilience, ownership, and peace. Because people who succeed at this long term aren't the ones who are perfect or have motivation up the wazoo or perfect plans. They're the ones who learn to control what they can and let go of what they can't. And that's what today is about. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.